What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Q-Tip, and we're minus the hoodie today, but we are still bringing the same vibes. We're still bringing the same type of content. We're still bringing the same kind of entertainment. Today, I'm here to answer one question. This question is mostly coming from myself. I'm not gonna lie. It's a question I've been asking myself for a couple years now, really. Um, but the biggest question for me that I have about sports is: Are we in the golden era of sports? And I mean in totality. I don't mean just basketball or just football or just WNBA or just tennis or just MLB. I mean all of it. All of it. Every sport, and not even just only in America. I'm talking about when we watch the Olympics. How hard is it for certain places to win? How hard is it for the United States of America to win certain places, like certain events? All of that. All of that. I don't know how long this video gonna be. This is basically like a passion project, passion video, passion episode, whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna yak for a little bit. If y'all enjoy that, I appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you agree with me, if you disagree, let me know. All right, first off, I'm starting out. Like I said, are we in the golden era? The beginning, the to start that, you got to figure out when this era started, right? So for me, I assume, and I look at this era, it's basically like when I was able to like really, really start deep diving into sports. And when I say deep diving, I don't mean like enjoying sports, because I've enjoyed sports my whole life. I've been able to watch Sports Center and NBA TV, NFL Network for most of my life. But I'm talking about like buy League Pass and be able to like make sure that I'm accessible for every game that I want to watch. You know, as far as women's college, WNBA, getting WNBA League Pass, getting NFL Red Zone, NFL Network, or having NFL Red Zone, and then having NFL Plus, be able to go back and watch everything that I could have the access to that I didn't when I was a kid, or it just wasn't a thing as a kid. I'm able to get now, and I'm able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I would say for me, I'm gonna say this era began in like 2017. This would be 2017 is like my senior year of high school. Maybe even 2016 be like junior year of high school. Of like 2016 to now, so the last 10 years essentially, the last 9 years essentially. The depth of talent, the athleticism, the amount of elite talents. And I know a lot of people can be like, oh, well, we got, ain't nobody better than Michael Jordan, or ain't nobody a better athlete than Will Chamberlain or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or so on and so forth. That's not what I'm debating. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm talking about the depth. Okay. I'm talking about the depth from sport to sport, from league to league, from country to country. Come on, country to country. I'm gonna start with certain leagues, and I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna let you know why I feel this way, and then we'll get back to the actual point at the end. So, like I said, the depth. I'm looking at the NBA, and I'm a avid watcher of the NBA. Been an avid watcher of the NBA most of my life, and my favorite player of all time, boom, Dwayne Wade, retired in 2018. So he is not a part of the era that I'm talking about. So this ain't even a bias, really, because I love the era that I grew up watching basketball. But I will say, as much as there was great players, as many great players as there were, you got Kobe, you got Bron, you got Shaq, and I'll put Bron in both of these eras because Bron is still one of the top 10 players in the league today. We got Tracy McGrady, we got Vince Carter, we got Tim Duncan, we got Dirk Nowitzki, we got Kevin Garnett, we got Paul Pierce, we got Melo. I think is also in both. And I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's still a ton of top end talent. There's still a ton of all time greats and elite talents in every era. That's not what I'm getting at here. I'm talking about from, I don't even say top of the league to the bottom of the league, but like from the top of the all NBA team to the third team to the all stars to the like brink all stars to even just like your regular good players. Like, it's a lot different today than it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, because a lot of times you'll go back and watch games, but damn, they had that bro, like bro's playing 25 minutes a night and he was only doing this. And sometimes, certain players just play a specific role, and that's what they were great at, so they did it. And they were able to do different things that they played like overseas or they played in college, whatever. That's not what I'm getting at here. That's not the point, I should say. Today, today we have, first of all, the top three of the top five players, three of the top six players, not from America. That's huge to think about. Well, actually, maybe four. You count like so. I mean, I guess even. All right, look. So my who I think is the best player in the NBA is Nikola Jokic. After that, I think Shea is in that conversation of like two. I think Giannis is still number two for me though. Maybe three, Shea, four, Luca, potentially five, Tatum. He got hurt, so he might be out. You still got Embiid if he's healthy. He hasn't been healthy in a while, but if he's healthy, that's a lot of guys. That's not. I mean, Tatum is, but that's a lot of guys. That's not American. So that's a thing in its own right. And when I'm talking about when I'm talking about depth, I'm trying to get to the point here. But I'll be yapping. Like I said, it's gonna be a yap. I don't know how long it's gonna be. We go from the Jokic's, then we got Shingun, and that's not a super high drop off. But you got like Shingun, who I don't think has been an All Star yet, who is All Star level talent, plays similar to the Jokic. You got Sabonis, who is average close to a triple double for a couple years. Doesn't really get the same respect, but he's that good to where like he still is able to do that. You got guys like Jaylen Brown, who's on the same team as Jason Tatum. You got guys where you got Luka and LeBron on the same team. You got Steph with Jimmy Butler. Like obviously those guys ain't in their prime anymore, but it's still crazy to think about the different types of players we still got, and the amount of young players we have with Ant, Shea, Ja, Wemby. Like don't even get me started on Wemby. Like that's a whole different conversation. Wemby's in the thumbnail for a reason. Wemby's a whole different conversation. Let's see. I'm trying to just throw this off the top of the dome because I didn't really write no names down for the NBA because I was like, I don't need to. Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, not really young, but still. Jalen Brunson, Cat, uh, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, like all three of them on the same team with Jared Allen. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the talent discrepancy and I'm talking about like the depth of talent discrepancy from this era to past eras, I think it's just crazy. Now, granted, there are some teams from back in the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s with multiple Hall of Famers on the teams. But then you look at the other teams in the league, and those teams are severely missing top end talent. I don't think there's a team, I guess the Wizards, maybe the Nets, that don't have like pure end top end talent, but they still have really talented players on their team nonetheless. And that's not to say that the guys back in the 80s and 90s weren't talented players. That's not what I'm saying. So that's the thing for me with the NBA is like the amount of elite players, the amount of players that are scoring 25, 20 points a game. Like people talk crazy about Jalen Green, bro. Score 20 points a game. Obviously, it don't look fantastic. May not be super efficient, but if he did that back in 2008, 2009, he'd be one of the best players in the league. So it's like, it's just crazy, like the difference from now to then and what you have to do to be great now versus then. Like then it was just like, you got to win. Now is you got to win, you got to be efficient, and they still might find something to poke a hole in your game about. Like let's just be real. Like they will still find a reason to hate on you. People still hate on LeBron. People still hate on LeBron. He was drafted in 2003. I was 4 years old. I am 26. This man is still playing in the league and is a undoubtedly top 10 player in the league. Think about that. Exactly. Even a guy like Tyler Hero averaged 24, basically 25, or no, it was 24, 24, 5, and 5. But he don't even get talked about with the top 10 point guards, top 12 point guards, top 10 guards. But if he did that back in 2008, 2009, this would be a different conversation. And again, pace of play, number of possessions, 3-point shooting, all that factors in. But the ability to do all that factors in as well. All right, that's the NFL. That's the NBA. It gets to NFL. NFL is a little different to me because I feel like they have to think a little less now, but the amount of talent and the amount of athleticism and skill is just a little bit crazier than what it was when I was growing up watching and what I watched 10, 15 years ago, because it was like, okay, you knew who was going to be there. You knew the guys that were going to be able to make plays. Like there are certain teams that you just knew like, they probably not going to do it. Now it's like you might have that feeling about some teams, but they still have the ability. They still have the talent, like the Ravens. You may feel like, the Ravens should be in the championship, but then there's some people that be like, nah, they're not going to do it this year. But there's still a high possibility that they turn it around or they make a play in one of those games, and they do. My thing here with the thing here, I think this is also a depth thing. I think the wide receiver pool is crazy, honestly. As someone that is a avid fantasy football player and watches NFL Red Zone week in, week out, wide receiver talent depth is crazy. Just putting that out there. And every year there's like 4 or 5 more that just come in. It's just like, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't know, like Isaac Tesla. Like, nobody was talking about him. Bro got back to back one-handed catches on the sideline, back to back weeks. Like that. Bro, when Odell did that 15 years, or not 15 years, when Odell did it 10 years ago, it was the greatest catch we ever seen. And I love Odell. And I'm not saying that Odell is not a part of this great era of wide receivers, but that's what I'm saying. Like that, look, it's just regular. Cam Ward just did something yesterday that I believe was the best touchdown of the season so far. Granted, it's only 2 weeks, but that's the best touchdown I've seen so far this season. And what he was doing to play, I'm like, oh, throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. He throws it back across the field. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Boom, touchdown. I said, never mind, I'll shut up. Because these guys now just have the ability to do this stuff on a regular basis. This is crazy. Like, and I saw a great quarterback play growing up. My favorite quarterback growing up was not Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. I said growing up. This was a while ago. Brett Favre. We had Tom Brady, obviously. We had Peyton Manning. We had Drew Brees. We had Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers. We had Joe Flacco. We had guys. We had guys that were throwing for big Phillip Rivers. We had guys that were throwing for a lot of yards. We had guys that were putting up big numbers. But the skill level with guys like Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert and even Jalen Hurts. Yes, Jalen Hurts. I said it. Dak Prescott. Even Dak. I don't think that's top 10, but he still a super talented quarterback. The amount of things that you have to plan for when you're going against these quarterbacks versus the other ones, besides like the Peyton Mannings and Tom Brady's, is night and day. And some of it, like I said, some of it you have to think a little bit less. Like I think some players have to think a little bit less nowadays because everything is kind of like spoon fed, not spoon fed, but like you get to talk to them for so long and they get to process everything with someone in their ear or with someone telling them this is what you're going to see. That's a little different. But in terms of talent, I don't think the defenses are better than they were back then, but I think that just has to do with the offensive talent. And then defense is just being able to take away certain things. Like everybody's playing too high shell now, which makes games kind of boring sometimes, but it's smart for the defense because now you gotta chop your way down the field instead of boom over the top. So that's one. That's NFL. Not to mention all the records that are breaking and all over sports. All right, now we're getting to the WNBA. Say what you want. The WNBA talent depth is higher than it's ever been. We've got A'ja Wilson. We've got Fee. We've got Stewie. We've got Alyssa Thomas. We've got Caitlin Clark. We've got Paige Beckers. We got Kelsey Plum. We got Kelsey Mitchell. We got Jackie Young. We got Ryan Howard. We got Alicia Gray. We got Neko Gumike. We got Skylar Diggins. We got the list goes on and on. We got Satu Sabali. I'm running out of players. Kelsey Mitchell. Run out of names up ahead. Aaliyah Boston. Angel Reese. We got talent all over the league and not just the league. Because women's college basketball is bringing those talents in at a higher and a more rapid rate than ever. Ever. We got a Juju Watkins. We got a AG Flood. We got a Lauren Betts. We got a Malaysia Fort Wiley. We got a Flaw J. Johnson. We got a Hannah Hidalgo. We got an Olivia Miles. We got a lot. All right. We got a Gianna Meekins. Yeah, I said Gianna Meekins. If you don't know about her, look it up. All right. Every year it's going to be more and more and more and more. And it's only going to keep growing. Look at y'all see the shirt? Come on now. It's not just WNBA players on here, but I'm going to get to a couple other players on the shirt too. But not even just the ratings, not even just people watching, not even just the eyes on it. The talent level has jumped. And again, my GOAT, my favorite player of all time is Candace Parker. She's not necessarily in this era. Actually, that's not true because she won a championship in this era. So I'm going to say she's in both. But she's not necessarily like one of the top names of this era. So this isn't me saying that the past era wasn't talented because they were. We had Maya Moore. We had Diana Taurasi. Diana Taurasi. We had Sue Bird. We had Lauren Jackson. We had Lisa Leslie. We had all those players. But after the top players on those teams, some of those benches were looking kind of slim, kind of skimp. Okay? That's all I'm saying. These teams, you get to these benches, these players be hooping. Letitia Heidemann just went crazy yesterday off the bench. Just so you know, Maureen Johannes has the ability to go and get you 20 in the even night. Emma Mieseman, former Finals MVP, is on the Liberty bench. DeWanna Bonner, Hall of Famer. I think number 3, number 2 in scoring all time. Number 3 in scoring all time. On the bench for the Phoenix Mercury. The Aces got Joel Lloyd, one of the greatest scorers of all time, on their bench. Oh, I didn't even mention Sarah Strong when I was talking about the women's college players. She might be the best one to come out. Might be. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she is. She has the potential to be one of the best players to ever come out of college, to ever come into the WNBA. That's the kind of talent she's got. All right, we get to tennis. Now, the men's side doesn't have great depth, but they still got some top guys that's really good. It's really talented. But when I talk about Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, who won they've split the last 8 majors. This looks like Rafa, Novak, Roger, and Andy Murray. And it's just 2 guys. So the men's side don't really help my argument here. But the women's side, yeah. The women's side, come on now. Iga, Coco, Arena, Jasmine Paolini, my dog, hold on. Naomi Osaka, Emma Raducanu, like Madison Keys. The list goes on and on. Taylor Townsend. There's a lot of players that have chances to win majors, win tournaments every time they step out. And Amanda Anisimova, Jess Pegula. Like, there's a lot of talent. And this ain't what I saw when I was growing up. And granted, I wasn't mad at it because I was a Serena Williams fan. I was happy to see Serena Williams win damn near every time. And when she would lose, I'd be like, what the hell? But shout out to those players. Shout out to players like Victoria Azarenka, Kim Clijsters, Marina Sharapova. She only won like 2. So, but the talent, I'm telling you, the skill level, and something that doesn't get taken into account as much as it should, I feel like nowadays, is the social media effect. Both pros and cons of it. Because some of these players, both in all these sports, are stars before they're 18 years old. Or by the time they're 20 years old. Or by the time they're 21 years old. Paige Beckers was known when she was at Hopkins, Minnesota. Similar to like Alonzo Ball, a LaMelo Ball, who was known when he was in like 6th grade. And look at him. Now when he's healthy, look at him. Still hooping in the NBA. Super young still, but he's hooping in the NBA. Zion. I didn't even say Zion earlier. Zion. But Cooper Flag too. Really, what was I saying? Social media. Social media plays a huge factor. And I don't just mean in terms of like the benefits. I'm talking about the cons as well. You lose a game, you lose a match, you lose a fight. Because I got some fighters on here too. You lose a fight, people are talking about they parlays, they talking about they bets, they talking about, I can't believe you did this, you trash, you not nothing, da da da. And again, all these people are saying this, and where are they sitting? On a couch or in a bar. Not even capable, not even close to being capable of what they're doing. Even gymnasts. We got Simone Biles, the undisputed greatest of all time, potentially the greatest athlete we've ever seen. People still talk crazy about her. If you talk crazy about Simone Biles, you could literally talk crazy about anybody because she's damn near perfect in her athletic career. Damn near perfect. So, the reason I talked about the social media aspect and the mental health aspect is really what I was getting at, is the women's side of tennis. Okay? I hate listening to the commentators when I watch tennis, specifically the women's tennis side, because they make everything seem like, oh, they missed a shot here. Oh, they looked at their coaches. Like the Naomi and Amanda Anisimova match from a couple of weeks ago was a great match. I was actually pissed because we ended up losing, but that's okay. It was a great match, but every time one of them made a mistake and they decided to look at their coaches, which everyone does. They decided to look at their coaches. They made it seem like it's because they were mentally fragile. They were mentally weak. They both had to take mental health breaks at different times and come back. Whatever the case may be, The fact that they've had to do that and come back and still be at a high level, still be elite, is amazing because a lot of people can't do that. Like, let's just be real. Like, these people are putting their entire lives out for people to see, out for people to judge, out for people to comment on, whether or not they want to, because they love a sport, because they love a game that we all started playing as kids, and they were good enough to be able to play it as adults and make a livelihood out of it. Because if we could have done it, we would have done it. But if everybody could do it, everybody would do it. But you can't. And that's what I'm getting at. Is like the amount of talent today is just insane. And I ain't MLB. We got Shohei Ohtani, bro. That's all I gotta say. You know, it's hella players too. We got Aaron Judge. We got Mookie Betts. We got Ellie De La Cruz. We got Fernando Tatis. We got hella players. We got what's the boy name? He's on my fantasy team. I forgot his name. Shout out my boy Pete. Juan Soto. It's hella players. Paul Skeens. We got hella players. Shohei Ohtani plays pitcher and hitter while hitting crazy numbers and pitching crazy numbers. And I know people gonna say, "Oh, they did that back in the day." They was pitching like 70, 80. This is different, bro. This is different. I don't care what nobody got to say. I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but I don't got no. I don't care what anyone says. This is different, bro. This is different. This is a different level. Shohei Ohtani is a different level. This is crazy. That's crazy. Like, if you don't watch Shohei Ohtani and you don't know about Shohei Ohtani, look him up. Look up his highlights. And you'll be like, what the hell? Ellie De La Cruz, look at them highlights. That dude is so fucking fast, man. Enough said. Wrestling. Yeah, I said wrestling. Yes, I said wrestling. Yes, I said wrestling. Because the amount of talent now versus back in the day is night and day. I said night and day earlier, but this is night and day. Night and day, night and day, night and day. And I loved wrestling when I was growing up. I loved wrestling in the mid 2010s or early 2010s up until the mid 2010s. But over the last 10 years, the amount of talent that has come through has been crazy. Even the last 5. Like, I'm not even about to get into all the names because it's never ending. We got 2 whole major companies in the United States with 30 to 40 different talents that are, I consider, elite. Elite talent. No pun intended to all elite wrestling in AEW and WWE. Maybe I'll make a list of everybody that I think is elite talent, elite skill in WWE and then in AEW. And maybe I'll come back to this and let y'all know what it looks like, or I'll just post it on YouTube short or a post, whatever. Boxing, this one's a little different because I think there's a lot of talent, but they don't all fight each other. So it's hard to see who the top end talent is. But I'm a guy that just called my shot. I don't say call my shot because I ain't boxed. But when the Canelo and Bud fight was made, I instantly said, Bud got this. And I have people telling me, no. My brother, shout out to my brother watching this. Yes, I'm talking about you. My brother Khalil, actually, because I got 2 brothers. My brother Khalil. He was also somebody that told me that Errol Spence was going to be Bud a couple years ago. We saw how that went. And I said, it may not be exactly the same, but Bud he's going to win this. And it's not going to be that close. And I don't think that fight was close, in my opinion. I think Bud Crawford put BTA. Shout out Canelo, because Canelo is still a great fighter. He's still one of the great fighters of this generation. Maybe top 2, top 3. We got young guys like Teofimo Lopez. We got young guys like Shakur Stevenson. We got guys like Tank. We got guys like Tyson Fury. We got guys like Deontay Wilder. We got guys like Usyk. We got guys like Anthony Joseph. Now, that guy, some of these guys fell off a little early, but the amount of talent that had to go through each other, the amount of big fights that we had, they just didn't feel like big fight feels because people didn't build it up properly. And people were kind of getting off of boxing because UFC was on the rise. But still a top end in terms of depth of talent at the same time. Okay. UFC, don't. Man, my dog Izzy. We got Khabib, who went undefeated. Ngannou, Usman. We got Max Holloway. I mean, it's a long list, bro. I could go forever. Not forever, but I could go for a long time with UFC guys because every couple of months, every couple of years, it just interchanges with new skill level, new talents coming in. And you get like Pereira. Like he just, he come in and just, like I just, you know, it's the last league per se. And I'm not gonna say I'm the expert in this league. I know some players. I don't have the bandwidth or the opportunity to like really follow this as much as I would like. But the National Women's Soccer League, I don't really follow soccer that much. But the soccer that I do see is typically from this when I'm watching World Cup. I'm gonna be honest, or the Olympics. Like, just gonna be honest. Just gonna be honest. So the ones that I know, they all young, upstarts, great talents, great skill levels, great potential. Trinity Rock, Sophie Wilson now. Sophie Wilson's on here. Oh, shit. Nope, that's Jordan Childs. Shout out Jordan Childs too, because I said Simone Bowser, but I didn't mention Jordan Childs. Shout out Jordan Childs too. Sunisa Lee, both of them. Oh yeah, Sophie Wilson. Yep. I said Juju. Make sure I said everybody that's on here. Yeah. Oh, Sabrina Ionescu. I can't believe I didn't say Sabrina. I saw my WNBA players. Um, Alyssa Thompson, Jalen Shaw. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say a bunch of names because if I say those are names that I've seen, but I don't really know about their skill level or know how good they are. So I'm not gonna do that. But again, the fact that the National Women's Soccer League is a thing and it's doing really well, that's a point for me. That's a point for me because it wasn't no National Women's Soccer League, and now there is. Now there's soccer leagues over here. There's MLS, but I ain't gonna lie, I don't really watch that at all. So I really couldn't tell you nothing about that. But to get to the main point of all of this, to get to the main point of all of this, we are in the golden era of sports. We are in the best era to be a sports fan, and some people, I say a lot of people actually, a lot of people are taking this shit for granted because the nostalgia that they have for the past eras is keeping them from enjoying this one. And I can tell you right now, that's not gonna happen to me. Well, it's not happening to me. It's not happening to me because I enjoy sports. I enjoy what I watch. I'm not about to watch something and be like, damn, I wish, you know, back in the day they did it like this, or back in the day they was going at each other. Like they ain't like each other. Okay? It's a different time. Bro, you gotta get with the times, bro. You gotta get with the times. That's really it. Like the amount of talent across sports. And I ain't even Olympics too. Olympics would Eurobasket just happen? Now granted USA didn't play, but we saw what they went. Hey, bro, it took Steph Curry going nuclear to get France up out of there. And then Gabby Williams had her foot on the line, or we would have went to, or the women's team might have just. I'm just, come on now. We got Canada and the men on the men's basketball side on our back. France, Germany, Dennis Schroeder when he in Germany, he Michael Jordan. So that's really what. That's really just that's the gist. I don't want to say the gist because I just talked for 28 minutes, but really what I'm getting at is I'm living in the golden era of sports. This is my golden era of sports. When I'm able to tell my future kids and future grandchildren, God willing, about what era of sports was my favorite or what era of sports that I really enjoyed. Of course, I enjoyed growing up and watching sports because, well, two of the people that are in that golden era or in that era of sports of me growing up are my all-time favorites, and those won't change. I don't see anyone I don't see anyone overtaking these three players right here. Just being honest. But that does not mean that I can't enjoy this era of sports just as much, if not more. Because again, the accessibility, the ability to see something new every single day live. Live. That's the big thing. Live. I could go and watch NBA TV and see what Dwayne Wade did that. I can go and watch NFL Network and see what happened Sunday night after I went to bed. I'm able to see every single thing that I want to see. And it's been phenomenal. I'm someone that tries to watch as much as I can, as often as I can. And I genuinely believe that this is the best era of sports, top to bottom, in terms of athletes, elite talent, skill level, all of that. Everything that you put, all of it. Top to bottom, this is the best it's ever been. Let me know if you disagree, because we could do a little back and forth, Let me know if you feel like there was a different golden era in sports, because a lot of people might feel like it's early 2010s. I definitely would disagree, respectfully. I love the early 2010s, but I would definitely disagree. Some people gonna say the mid 2000s. Now, granted, my guy got a ring in 2006, so I'm not gonna be like hell no, but like no, it's not. Talk about the 90s. I can't really argue with you because I was born in 99. Don't you say damn. I was born in 99, so I didn't see none of that. But from what I saw, and I'm not one of those get rid of the 90s guys, because the 90s basketball was still entertaining. But compared to ours, compared to my era of hoops, of everything, no. No. I'm not going back and watching 90s football game. I'm just being honest with you. Just being honest, And that's not to say that it wasn't good or it wasn't entertaining or they weren't talented. It's not what I'm saying. But this era of football, the last 10 years of football, even before that, but the last 10 years of football, we've seen some insane talents, boy. I'm telling you right now, we've seen Tom Brady turn back the clock multiple times. We've seen Pat Mahomes go crazy, go on his own little dynasty. We've seen guys like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson introduce themselves to the league. We've seen guys like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson put their names in history books already. We've seen guys like Saquon Barkley choose not to break a record that he could have easily broken. Derrick Henry, still. Derrick Henry was at Alabama. I was in middle school, I'm pretty sure. And he's still out here running dudes over, stiff arming dudes into their mama's stomach. Again. Yeah, I said it. Back into their mama's stomach. Yes. That's what Derrick Henry be doing. We got guys like Bijan. I watched Bijan last night. He went crazy. All right. Christian McCaffrey. The amount of talent in the league right now. And there's a lot of names I didn't even name. So think about that. I didn't say Devin Booker. I didn't say Jonquel Jones. I didn't say who else? Gabby Williams, my dog. I didn't say Kayla McBride, my dog. Haley Jones, my dog. Bro, I'm not gonna keep going because I can go forever. But last time I'm gonna say this. This is the golden era of sports. If you disagree, argue with your mom. Just kidding. I might argue with you if you comment. But also, argue with your mom, because she probably won't argue back with you, So, all in all, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. This is probably my favorite video I've done so far. So make sure y'all like it up. Make sure you share it. Talk about it with other people. See how they feel. Let me know. And I'll be back in another one very soon.